Hello? Woo, there we go.
Is left to a dark canvas. I begin to drown in cries, except I am still. I am quiet. I close my eyes. I open. The figure inches towards me. I close again. A few inches more. Sweat trickles down my face. Now I am blind. The burn, the hurt, my eyes now suffer. The same fate as my body. Paralysis. I fight and fight with my every muscle and nerve in my body to move. I shake and shake. Then I squeeze the life out of me. Ah! The end. Thank you. Thank you guys. So that was my take on Gothic poetry. I hope you guys like it. So yes, I am your guest MC for the day. My name is Matthew. So next, we are going to go with Sin Lucero. If you are here, Sin Lucero, you are up. Please come up. You are next. No? Okay, that's okay. So next, we're going to go with Brenda Vaca, my dear friend, actually, too. Knock them out, Brenda.
Hey everyone, my name is Brenda Vaca. Find and follow me on IG as I am Brenda Vaca. I'm gonna Vaca. Pues si quieres, no vaca like as in moo, okay? Brenda Vaca with the V, Ve chiquita. So I'm gonna read the first poem in my book called Riot of Roses. Let me show off this cover a little bit because I had a really bomb-ass artist designed the cover. This is switching the mood a little bit from the Gothic. There's a little bit of a Gothic flavor to this because it's, a little bit of love, a little bit of heartbreak. My good friend Diosa has heard this one about 1,000 times. Shadows without shame. In my most sultry tones, I am innocent. In other ways, I'm a total slut. I mean that in the most respectful of ways. I get my whoring from the men in my family. If there's one thing you learn from the patriarchy, is that you self-harm most when you come to believe that sexuality and this body don't mean shit. Like it can actually be slam bam, thank you ma'am. I mean sir. Como duele. The tío who had a whole other family, both first sons named after himself. What a farce. Like, si todavía me amas como antes, ya nada me parece interesante. Yo sé que en el amor soy un farsante, yo sin ti. When you do not value yourself, when you do not think that you are enough, or you begin to compensate by thinking you are the shit like everybody wants you. El primo, in the middle of divorce, reaching for straws in love, was joking that a cachetada is all you need to keep your vieja in her place. Always seeking the next horizon. Not even comfortable having an empty bed for a few short months, which I know feels like eons. There is nothing heavier than the emptiness of a bed than when your lover leaves you. I know what that's about. Spent so many times alone. For a long time, it was fine. I was getting to know myself, licking my wounds, changing the dressing, taking mariachi classes with La Sonia at the School of Arts and Culture in San Jose, cantando Paloma Negra, Paloma Negra, ¿dónde andarás? But then came the days when the emptiness loomed large, said boo in the dark, and scared me more than a little. On those nights, I sought solace, solace with the promise of a kindred, solace with the passion of thirst quench, solace with the relief of an escaped arrest. There were times it was sheer biological need, my assertion on this earth plane that I'm still here. Nothing twisted about it, purely physical, just need like hunger, rest, or defecation. At other times, it was a self-mutilation, trying to understand the original wound, the one that defies language. Some things, all they can do is sit. Bring it to a boil, mommy says. Lower it and let it stew. Better left unsaid and set loose on the wind. In those moments with moon high in sky and sun well below, I could see my shadows without shame. I could taste the anxious biles wet on my lip. I could smell the stench, putrid and rotting. I could feel brave, brave enough to sit and stare until the truth glides into focus. See myself standing there, vulnerable and innocent, if even for a moment. Thank you so much, friends. Nervous Ghost Press, much love.
Yes, that was Brenda. Let's give a round of applause for Brenda. Nice. So I met Brenda actually at the first poetry slam that we had here 4 months ago, right? 4 months ago, yup. So, really, okay, nice. So we've been doing this. That's right. Shout out to Brenda, and we built bonds. Last episode, Matt had said how we built bonds, and I built a bond with Matt. I built a bond with Brenda, a few others, and it's great to invest in the community. It's great to network with other people and just build that bond. So yes to poetry. So next is actually a person who I've seen as a mentor. I had taken his first class in, I believe, 2016, and I took him again just because I liked him so much. He really inspired me in creative writing and English. So yes, and he also wrote a letter of recommendation for me once I finished my credential class, or my credential program. So give it up to Professor Obed Silva.
This motherfucker ADA approved? We'll find out. Left or right? There you go. Look at that. When I speak, I scream. All right, check it out. I felt kind of uncertain on whether I wanted to read this motherfucking poem or not, but after what Brenda just read, my shit is tame as fuck. But it is in Spanish, and I don't apologize for that because you are on Mexican fucking land and Tongva land before that. All right. Thank you for hosting this, Matt and Matt. Matt squared. Matt squared. All right. So check it out. So this one is called Se consumieron dos extraños en el Citizen Hotel. I think I gotta take off my shirt because it's fucking hot in here. Or maybe it's the poem itself. Fucking Brenda, what you start? Look at this. Hey, that's how real poets used to do, man. Not all like this cafe shit. Man, where's the drugs at? Sorry, kids. The señor looking at me like, what? Oh, am I on camera? Hey, man, block that. All right, check it out. And it starts with an epigraph by one of my favorite poems by Baudelaire. And that poem is called Madrigal Triste in Spanish, at least. So the epigraph is, se bella, se triste, y recuérdame en tus sueños que nunca se borre la imagen de este hombre, adolorido con su cuerpo quebrado. Se consumieron 2 extraños en el Hotel Citizen. Él era un hombre ridículo, no le importaba ser serio. Eso, él decía, era para los constipados. Él prefería tomar el mundo con una carcajada y contaba cuentos para entretenerse. Cuando la vio triste y sola, él la confrontó con una pluma y papel en la mano y le dijo, te quiero escribir un poema. Ella levantó la cabeza y lo recibió con unos ojos sonrientes. La tristeza se le había borrado. ¿Y de qué va a ser el poema? Ella le preguntó. De un hombre con hambre. Él le dijo con una cara estúpida, como la que tienen los niños perdidos. ¿De un hombre con hambre? Ella preguntó. No entiendo. Pues mira, él le dijo, en verte me recuerdas de las cosas más sabrosas en la vida y yo vivo para consumir lo sabroso. Y si me dejarías, me gustaría consumirte completamente. Él, siendo el hombre ridículo sin interés en los medios de la vida formal, puso su papel en la mesa y con su pluma escribió. Empezaría con... Son of a bitch. That's right. Fuck you, censors. Soon as they're gonna get to the dirty shit, that's why. Pinches so hot. Agua, güey. Empezaría con él. Look at Brenda, chill. This table's too much already. Look at this. What's up, compa? Empezaría con el dedo gordo de tu pie izquierdo, porque yo soy comunista. Te lo chuparía como una paleta de mango, luego te mordería la pierna como un elote de calle, hasta llegar a tu panza, cual abriría como un tamal de res con crema blanca. Just like, la verga. Tu cuello lo chuparía como un hueso de pollo y tu lengua como una ostión de mar. Slurp that shit. En fin, regresaría a lo más delicioso. Tu cuevita de jardines florales me comería como un pastel de leche y poco a poquito con mi pura lengua como me comí el pastel de mi primer y último cumpleaños. Y para la sed que siempre sigue una panza llena y feliz del hambre del hombre, me tragaría tus senos como 2 caguamas de carta blanca. Oh, fuck yeah. Oh, you read my book, huh? Ah, huevo. Yes, sir. El hombre lleno y completamente feliz con su trabajo, le pasó el poema a su protagonista, quien lo tomó con una seriedad profunda, teniendo un poco de miedo de leer que el hombre había escrito. Pero letra por letra y palabra por palabra, ella lo consumió. En fin, los dos se consumieron. Fin. Gracias. That's Spanish for you. All right. Come on, let's baby. I should be a Spanish teacher.
Is it right or? No, that's all right. I'll just squat down. Yes, so that was Professor Obed Silva. Let's give it up for him. My man. And as awesome as he was here, that's how he is in the classroom. That dude is awesome. I ain't even lying. Yeah, just kidding. If you're watching, he's okay. He's chill. But anywho, so yes, that is Professor Silva. So yes, next up, guys, we have Diosa X. Yes, give it up for Diosa X. Nice to meet you.
Well. Diosa Xochiquetzaco, Diosa X for short. Y hablando de putos y consumidos. So I'll start with this little microphone. Yo no vine a este mundo a decirles cosas bonitas. Yo vine a este mundo a decirles la verdad. Declaration. Polyamorous, non-monogamous, snuffleupagus, what the fuck? Congested, oversatiated, polysaturated, that's what's up. Don't need no labels, no tightrope cables, just to get someone's love. Metamors and troubadours got me singing to the Commodores, but there ain't nothing easy about this shit. It's so much easier to walk and call it quits. When the secondary always seems to take the hit, enough of this hierarchical bullshit. I do hereby declare relationship anarchy, to hell with polyamory, reclaiming my anatomy, welcome back solo amory. What's fair is fair, and I don't really care what you think of it, because I'm the one that calls the shots in all my relationships. I do hereby declare. Gracias.
Let's give it up for the women here today. Women empowerment, that's what I'm talking about. Setting the tone for the night. So that was a great reading. Great job, ladies. And I have the pleasure of seeing them right in front of me. So that's even better. So next up, we have Francisco. Are you here, Francisco? Alrighty, no Francisco yet. That's okay. What about Yesenia? Is Yesenia here? Any Yesenias? No. Okay. Alberto. Alberto, that's what I'm talking about. And Alberto has been here the past 4 times as well, just like me. So he always has a good read. Shout out to you, my man. So let's give it up for him. Kick some butt, brother.
Good evening. One of my favorite things in life, and I remember when my parents would tell me that you'd get over superheroes. I never did. One of my favorite superheroes, 2 favorite superheroes, is Ghost Rider and the Crow. And I never understood, well, more like later in life, I like those characters more than I like Spider-Man or Superman. There's a reason why I say that, because Superman and Spider-Man are more related to a brighter, optimistic read. Ghost Rider, the Crow, or even Batman can be a little depressing to read. It is. Don't get me wrong, but I like when superheroes are real, that they feel real, that the community is part of them, like Gotham City is a part of Batman. You can't think of either or without each other. And this is called La Sombra. I live in Boyle Heights right now, Boyle Avenue to be exact, and the community has always inspired me. The underpass of the freeways, the Mercaditos, the Santa Cecilia. So this is called La Sombra. It's a short story, by the way, if I didn't say that. Once I light my pipe, the crystal begins to burn and is ready to navigate through my body. Underneath the First Street Bridge that connects from Boyle Heights to downtown Los Angeles has always been a place where I can get away from all the rules of the calles, the gang fights in the late night, and all the pain. I can hear the cars zoom above me as if a bunch of superheroes are flying. It's loud when I focus on the cars, but when I'm not, it's quiet. I like it like that. After the first gram of crystal is finished, I start to pack the pipe again. I have a bag full, and I could easily sell enough to pay the rent or even some groceries. I can't go back home today, especially after tonight. Mi hijito found out that I never quit, even though I promised him. The look on his face of disappointment is an expression I got used to seeing. As he told me that night, Jefe, you told me you were done using. Why do you still lie to me? I may be 12, but I'm not fucking stupid. He said this as he was holding my pipe and crystal. I snatched it back and shouted at him, Mijo, what the fuck are you doing in my room? Enough with your bullshit and better not tell your fucking jefa. With tears of frustration, he muttered, I may have a jefe, unlike you did, but you never wanted to begin with. When he said that, I clenched my fist ready to hit him, but I stopped, since he was right. I left the house, slamming the door behind me as my wife Leslie begged me to stay by holding our daughter Juanita. I'll see you later, vieja. As I'm walking away, she cries out for me to stay. Ernesto, please, it's Christmas. I've been a neglectful jefe towards my son. Me being arrested on his second birthday and going away to prison for 10 years changed everything. I wasn't there to bring him to school or teach him how to tie his shoes. For the majority of his life, I only saw him through a window or at a metal table for a limited time. I was never an absent father. I'd always write to him, but I felt disconnected when we spoke. His birthday pictures had me wearing clothes that read CDC, standing for California Detention Center. My second gram has been smoked. I pack in all the crystal I can into my pipe to feel the rush, flowing through my lungs, making its way back into my body, where I feel to begin numb, and then finally into my heart where the pain I felt has been extinguished. I feel energized to do something, but I'm exhausted. I start thinking of what my jefita told me when she found the pistol in my room at 11. Do you care whether you live or die, Ernesto? When she asked me that, I didn't have an answer for her. But now that I realize it's too late to answer her. I wake up, but the bridge is quiet. I look up, and there are no stars. The sky is pitch black. I get back up to First Street, and the entire street is empty. Not even the 30 bus that goes to Indiana that runs all night is passing through. The light from the underpass on First Street is off. I go check out Pekin Park, and no one's kicking it at the tables. I look at my watch to check the time, and there's no minute hand or hour hand. I begin to look for anyone that can give me answers or an explanation to all this. I even go to a rival's neighborhood. I'm hesitant because I don't know if someone will pull up on me. As I slowly walk up Marquez Street, I don't hear anything. It scares me not to hear the crickets from the park or even someone playing Zap from a kickback. I enter a house and no one is inside. There's an empty couch to my right and a TV in front of me. The TV isn't turning on despite it being plugged in. Chills begin to crawl over my body. I've never felt this anxiety before. There's a bright light to the right of me on First Street. I wonder if this is the light everyone talks about when you die. I wonder if this light could give me some answers. I go follow the light to see a wolf shining in the dark. Its light is extremely bright, but since the darkness surrounds the wolf, it's a contained light. The wolf is in the middle of First Street. I slowly start to approach it, and then it turns around to walk away from me. I try to catch up to the wolf, but it speeds up. It stops in front of the LA courthouse on Hill Street. The wolf then sits at the entrance and looks at me, then looks up at the building. I follow him into the courthouse. There's no lawyers with their briefcases on their phone waiting for the elevator. The wolf walks past me and keeps walking to a door that reads holding cells in capital letters. Looking at the door, I start to remember the first time I was sentenced to juvenile hall at 12 years old. Mi jefita was sitting behind me in the benches with her rosario, whispering prayers in Padre Nuestro. Behind me, I sat in the defendant's table with the jumpsuit and handcuffs on. The head juror stands to say, "We find the defendant Ernesto Everardo Vargas guilty on all charges." Behind me, I slowly hear a quiet weep grow louder from her. When the judge announced my sentence of 5 years, that's when the weeping turned into cries for help as mi jefita shouted, "Por favor, not my baby, don't take him from me." The wolf goes inside the holding cell to wait for me. I sit on the bunk bed and feel right at home. The cell gate opens slowly, slowly closes, and the familiar clink of the gate closing feels comforting. The gate opens up, and the wolf is indicating me to follow him again. He brings me to a courtroom I've grown to loathe. I sit at the defendant's table, somewhere I feel comfortable. I look behind me to see nobody in the pews, nobody on the jury stand, or not even the prosecutor's table. Although a figure rises amongst the darkness from the bench where the judge stands, I'm able to see it, but it's hard to describe its appearance. It's as if the void of darkness has a face to it. This mysterious figure with a strong and deep voice says, "Ernesto Everardo Vargas, please rise." I slowly stood up and didn't say anything. I had no idea what was going on. Am I dead? Who's talking right now? What is this place? Are you not Ernesto Everardo Vargas? How do you know my name? Allow me to introduce myself, Ernesto. I am the Shadow King, and you are in the Shadow Kingdom. Wait, am I dead? You are dead. You overdosed underneath the First Street Bridge. In the living world right now, your funeral is about to begin. I can't be dead. I have to be there for mis hijos. I have to be a father. I can't die now, please. It's too late, Ernesto. You made your choices. I assume you care about living now, don't you? I do care. I felt as a son to mi jefita. I felt as a husband to my Leslie. And worse, I felt mis hijos, especially Lalito. Succeeding in putting work for your body, though. I became speechless when he said that. Numerous times you have failed the loved ones around you. You have become a shadow throughout their life. Let me show you. He then disappears from the bench and then stood behind me. It reminded me of when I was in middle school and the teacher would come up from behind to ask me what I was doing, knowing I wasn't doing my work. He touched my shoulder and brought us away from the courtroom. We are now in my childhood home, Aliso Village housing projects in the 90s. It was like watching a movie that I knew the ending to. I see homies that I thought I would never see again. I stand frozen. I ask the Shadow King, "Why are we here?" And he responds with, "You're going to see memories of your past. You cannot interact with the people you see, for they're only images. You'll feel every pain you have caused and see the effect you have had on everyone." He brings me into my unit where I'm about to leave for a meeting at 9 p.m. I remember one of our homies, Shy Boy, had been killed by a rival gang member. And we're going to talk about when the perfect time to catch him slipping. I was getting ready at 8:30 by putting on my beige Ben Davis pants that are 10 sizes up, my black and white Cortezes, my blank t-shirt from the liquor store, and finally my Raider sweater. I was ready to leave, and then mi jefita asked me where I was going. "A dónde vas, Ernesto?" "I'm going out for my walk, jefa. I'll be back." "Don't lie to me. Where are you going?" "Why does it fucking matter?" "Don't talk to me like that, Ernesto. It matters because you are my son. You're not even 12 and you're going out this late. I know you're going to hang out with con esos pelones at the park. I know you tagged the graffiti on the side of this building. I recognize my son's writing when I see it. Stay out of my shit, jefa, and mind your fucking business." "¿Qué me dijiste?" "Don't you fucking talk to me like that, Ernesto. Soy tu madre. And as your mother, I'm supposed to protect you, not as my job because you're mi vida. I love you, Ernesto, and I don't want you to be like Maria's kid. Every time I go to misa, I see her suffering, praying. I'm scared that one day you'll leave the door and I'll never see you again." "Whatever, jefa. I'll be home when I'm home." Buenas noches, then. Why was I so stupid? Mi jefita loved me and only wanted me to be safe. Seeing my 11-year-old self, I wanted to scream at him, but he couldn't hear me. The fear I'm feeling from mi jefita is intense. I don't know how she was able to carry all this through these years. I asked the Shadow King to not show me anymore. I don't want to see any more of this, please. Pay attention to her, Ernesto. You then stay as she begins to cry softly, and gradually the sobbing grows louder. I felt every pain and sadness she felt that night. I never experienced this type of pain before, as if 100 knives slowly piercing my skin all over my body, but mainly in my heart. I went to hug her as her hands on her eyes. As she has her hands on her eyes, but I would slip through every time. It pains me even more knowing she passed away. She died when I was in prison, and I couldn't even attend her funeral. Please, no more of these memories, Shadow King. I beg you. You must fully understand what you've done. We then arrived at Pekin Park, the day of mi Lalito's second birthday. I was arrested that day, and my son saw me right away in the back of an LAPD car. The memories playing like I remembered. Leslie setting up the tables we rented from Don Silvestre, Lalito running around playing tag with my homies' kids, and I'm flipping carne asada. Lalito wanted to help so bad that he kept grabbing the bag of carne and giving it to me. I told him no, but he kept giving me this look like a puppy does when he wants a treat. I couldn't say no to him. He had this really beautiful smile. I picked him up and held him with my left arm, and I gave him the tongs, and I held his right arm so he can flip over the meat. As a memory was playing, I feel calm and happy, something I haven't felt since that day. The moment reminds me of when I was high on crystal for the first time, feeling light as if I'm floating in the wind with all the pain from the world extinguished. I started to weep as I realized how beautiful that moment was. Leslie took a picture of us. Lalito and I were both smiling, the last time we ever smiled together. After I put him down for him to run around the park, I saw two LAPD officers come in out of the car and approach us slowly. The entire mood shifts from happiness to anxiousness being felt all around, as if a dark cloud came to pour down on a sunny day to ruin its light. The two officers turned off the radio that was playing cumbias. "What's going on here, Ernesto? We see some of your vatos here today." It was Officer Anderson. He was the first one to arrest me at 12, and when I was handcuffed on the ground, he brutally beat me on my back. Ever since then, I've had back problems. We're only celebrating my son's birthday, sir, nothing more. Everyone, hands on your head and on the fucking ground. All you fucking beanbags now. 4 of my homies and I, including Leslie, were all on the grass. I was scared for Lalito. He's never seen this before. Luckily, mi jefita was there to hold him as he was crying. They all checked our pockets. Leslie was the only one that didn't have anything, and the rest of us did. Regardless, they still arrested her and took her away with the rest of us, my homies. Officer Anderson pulled out 5 grams of crystal from my pocket. I was planning to smoke after a party and put in work for the barrio. I spent the next 10 years in prison as the distance between Lalito and I grew farther apart. I look at Lalito and the fear he felt that day creep up on me. These emotions are extremely heavy, as if they are piling up on me. I can't get up from them. I'm sorry, mijo. I should have told you how much I cried my first night being incarcerated at 12 years old. Not having a father in my life led me to look for that father figure on the streets. Or how much I sobbed when I was left in the middle of the shoe with 3 bullets in me as I saw the blood get brighter. Smoking crystal was the only time I felt at peace and safe. There was comfort in being numb and forgetting what was real in the world. I begged to the Shadow King, "Shadow King, I don't want to see this anymore." I start pleading, and he shrugs me off and says, "You must move forward to your last day and pay attention to the change in Lalito. We are in my house on my last day alive. It's Christmas Eve, and it's been 6 months since I've been released. My relationship with Lalito doesn't exist. The moment he thought I'd quit, I told him I'd quit. Our relationship was about to heal, knowing that I had quit, but I lied. He was looking around to find any presents he could open early and eventually made it to my room. There he found a bag of crystal in my pipe. As the Shadow King looks to me and says, "Do you know what happens next, Ernesto?" I do. He tells me he found it, and I raise my hand over him, ready to hit him. As mentioned before, Ernesto, pay attention to Lalito, because not only does he feel betrayed by you, but the person he looked up to for guidance has told him that he doesn't care. The same dark emotions he felt at his birthday, I begin to feel, but this time, instead of fear, there's anger. I look at Lalito, and the Shadow King is right. He's different. I start to notice darkness is starting to consume his light around him. The moment I realized my influence was ruining him, I fell into the ground and started crying my eyes out, feeling all the pain I've caused to him and to everyone. And I asked the Shadow King, is there any way I could redeem myself for all the pain I've caused or take any of it back? I pleaded. The Shadow King then responds, there is a way to redeem yourself, Ernesto. The Shadow Kingdom has needed souls for quite some time. For every generation, there's always been someone to collect these souls for me. Recently, the last one to do so finished their journey. It's time for someone new. I need you to be La Sombra. I ask him, what will I do? He then replies, you will become the shadows. Every time when someone sees darkness, you will be there. When someone feels the cold breeze on a hot day, you will be there. When someone preys on the innocent, you will be there. When evil roams the world freely, you will be there. And when someone who has been covered in darkness, you will be there to bring him back to the Shadow Kingdom. As he said this, I began to think of Lalito. I want him to be proud of me. I can protect him and those that need help. I can do some good and be part of the right side for once. I tell him, I'll become La Sombra, but can I make a request, Shadow King? I'll allow Ernesto to consider this your dying wish. Before I become La Sombra, can I write my Lalito a letter? I'll allow you to live for 1 hour and no more. When you're ready to come back, just say it. Be careful not to be seen by anyone. I wake up back in the same place where I had died, and I head to my house. I look through the windows to see if it's empty, and it is. I break into the window where my son's room is, and I grab a pen and paper. It doesn't take me long to write the letter. Familiar voices enter the house, and I grab the doorknob and leave it only an inch open so I can barely see my family and even some homies there. They're all talking about how much they miss me. I want to hug them, but I can't. It seems as if they returned from my funeral services. Everyone is wearing a white shirt with my face on the front and my death date, February 20th, 1981 to December 25th, 2017. I look at Lalito and the look of disappointment is not there, but only sadness has filled his face. I knock on the back of the door from his room, and that caught someone's attention since I see the door slowly open. I then tell the Shadow King I'm ready, as he brought me back into the Shadow Kingdom, ready to become La Sombra. I left a letter on his bed, and the one photo I always kept in my wallet, the same picture from his birthday. Dear mi Lalito, first off, I'm sorry for not being a father to you, mijo. I never had a father growing up, but I was never there in a way. You were like me. Growing up without a father, I always looked for the role model in life. And it led me to a life of pain, not only for me, but for you. I'm also very sorry for not giving up my addiction. It was the only time I felt safe, but now I realize that every time I smoke crystal, you begin to hurt. When you were born, I was scared you turn out like me. I thought being in the same room of you being born would curse you. Only now I realize that me not being there for you hurt you even more. I forgot how your smile looks like. I hardly ever saw it. It's because of my constant screw-ups. I wasn't a good person to you. And you always had this light around you like an angel. I came into your life to extinguish your light, and I wish I'd never done it. I'm sorry, Despensa. I was never able to be the father you deserved in this life. Your sister Juanita, she's only 3 months old and needs a father in her life more than ever. And that father is you, Lalito. If anyone can be the man to take her to school, teach her how to tie her shoes, or look both ways when she crosses the street, it's you. In my life, you've always been the light that always burned brightest. Continue that with her, what I couldn't with you. Even in my death, I'll never stop caring for you. As I watch you from the shadows that once consumed me, I'll always love you, mi Lalito, tu jefe, Ernesto Everardo Vargas. Done. Yeah, I really like this character a lot. But real quick shout out to my madrinas right there. She's waving her hands. And my padrino is named Everardo. And when I created the name Ernesto Vargas, 2 reasons. I like the name Ernesto, and Vargas is Mariachi Vargas. So I got that. And you know how like Clark Kent, they sound the same, whatever that thing is, I forgot the name. I didn't do my homework, so sorry. Or like Peter Parker, I wanted Ernesto Everardo, and my padrino's name Everardo. And then I guess my god brother, you could say, his name is Lalito, so that's a reference to them. So yeah. Real quick, buy the book, The Crow, by James O'Barr. That was a huge inspiration for me on this, so yeah.
Wow, wow. That was very powerful. Huge shout out to Alberto. Thank you for sharing that. That was wonderful. You know, that's sadly what a lot of individuals face in poverty, right? But here we are trying to uplift the community, right? So it's great to be here, right? So tipping off of that, next up is Francisco here. No Francisco? Okay, my friend, you are going to be skipped. I'm sorry. Sin Lucero, are you here? Okay, I'm sorry, you're gonna have to get skipped. Yesenia, is Yesenia here? Okay, Yesenia, let's go. Give it up for Yesenia. Nice to meet you.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's so exciting. All right, this is a poem called Gracias, Selena. Selena, la pocha, la mexicana, la tejana. When you died, what a tragedy. I was in the car with my best friend when they announced on the radio yet you were gone. And late at night when all the world is sleeping, I stay up and think of you and your dark hair and your dark eyes and curves. And I thank you because we didn't have many Mexican American Spanish speaking English singing, cantantes, bailadoras, y con mucho estilo like you. Your presence, popularity, y película con J-Lo inspire me. Pero no me queda más que aguantar bien mi derrota y brindarte felicidad. Gracias, thank you, because I see me when I hear you. My nieces see themselves. Y tu voz siempre vivirá. With our holy Chicana Trinity, with La Virgen, La Frida, y Selena forever, we dance La Tecnocumbia with a shiny bra and red lipstick. No matter if you were Jehovah. I mean, so was Prince, right? You, Selena, with your amor prohibido and controlling dad, all so relatable. I want to dance and cry and sing con gusto. Your face and name is on earrings and keychains and pins and air fresheners. Even pinchy culture vultures like Kim Kardashian be repping you. Pero cuando pienso that you are gone, ay, como me duele. Thank you, thank you. All right, thank you. I'm gonna do 6 more. Just kidding, no. I'm gonna do a Planned Parenthood because I believe in women's rights. Okay. This is called Planned Parenthood protesters. They stand around outside harassing women. Women like me who had to make hard decisions. Women like me who at 19 walked in to get a termination. Would they have provided free childcare for me while I was at work or at school? Would they pay my rent and bills when I didn't have enough? They stand around praying and singing songs, but those things don't pay no rent. They don't pay those therapy bills. They don't make your shitty boyfriend a better person. They don't make you want to have babies you're not ready for. Planned Parenthood protesters, please pass on by. Go home and pray. Don't stay. Okay, this is my last one. It's called It's Getting Hot in Here, So Hot in Here. These hot LA days remind me of walking home from school. The sun burning us up, the heat rising from the cement and the lack of shade and the glaring sun in our faces. We ain't worried about no SPF or wrinkles. And the tar from the playground they've been fixing forever is stuck to my pro-wings from Payless. But they better last me till the end of the school year. The lingering smell of the chemicals from the nearby factories in the air. Walking home from school with my sisters, red in the face and stinky and stained with the free lunch and starving, because them LAUSD lunches were gross. Switching to Spanish for Carmelita, the babysitter, and mad at Carmelita because she wouldn't buy me a big stick for a quarter because she had to send it to her family in Mexico. My braids all messed up until we finally get home and the big bag of oranges my dad buys from the men on the street are sitting there like a sweet promise of relief from the heat. So what if we ain't got no AC? The plastic-covered couches stick to my body. So I sit on the floor in front of the TV, inches away. So what if my mom says I'll go blind? It's more fun up close. Anyway, she's not home, I tell my smart aleck sister. We sit in front of the TV, peeling orange after orange with sticky fingers, making our own mountain of cascaras. Our own mountain of orange peels will later fight about who has to clean up, while the Animaniacs theme music competes with Carmelita's novelas. I forget about the big stick because the sweet oranges cooled me down, and I'm not mad at Carmelita anymore because she's a good babysitter and she's only 19. She came from my mom's ranchito to make some money and promised to return, but she never did. She stays like the sun stays, like the longing stays for a homeland that's also hot and sunny. But over there are an abundance of trees and a river. And you can eat all the mangoes and naranja limas you want straight from the tree. Thank you.
All righty. Give it up for Yesenia. Yes. So, shout out to LAUSD. Yup, product of LAUSD, right? I personally like those school lunches. Oh, yeah. They used to give good chalupas when I was a kid. But yeah, chimichangas, yup. And I actually currently teach for LAUSD too. Hey, that's what I'm talking about. That's right, represent. So, anywho, so if there is anyone in the crowd who would like to go, you are more than welcome. If not, I have one more poem. Would you two like to go? You would like to go? Okay, come on up. Okay, so we have another person coming up. What was your name? Give it up for Lily. Sorry. Sorry,
Like that. I think I'm doing this. Hold on. Yeah, it's gonna fall, so just don't touch it.
Don't touch it? Okay. Hello. Hold on. Hello. My name is Lily Vargas. I'm currently an incoming senior at Pasadena High School. Um, this is my second open mic. I wrote a couple of things for this, and it's a little bit explicit with language, and it's kind of like taking inspiration from experiences that I've had, things that I'm grateful for, and what I look forward to in the future. So this one is, I couldn't decide between the names, so it's either You Can Kiss My Flat Ass or Some Stuck-Up Kids. Funny you thought you could choke me and provoke me, thought your words would pierce like knives. Baby, I wouldn't give a fuck, even if it were the end of my life. You stand behind a mask, talk shit, but still kiss ass. Some scared little kids who are obsessed with what everyone else does besides themselves. Please bite me, for I will only chew your words and spit them out. Frankly, I'm in a drought, and you won't get a drop of sweat from me. You do realize that I never did anything to you. Says more about you, but you know, good luck after high school. Your labels and rumors mean shit, especially from some prissy stuck-up kids. And I have a last one. It's more of a pep talk kind of, and just it doesn't have a name, but it was just something that I was thinking about a while back, and I took inspiration from both my mom and my dad, and what I'm grateful that they've given me. You reminded me that I could be something bigger than a girl who only wrote words, excuse me, into phrases while she was in the midst of four blue walls. I never thought about how all these stars with a similar lineage to me started. Reading their stories inspires me to be more, besides seeing my parents working hard. My dad with his physical labor when he fixes car parts and does all the shaping of metal parts for his boss's company. Or how my mother had reminded me of the importance of creativity through her work, which reminds me every time I step through my American history classroom that I walk with the creativity my mother imposed on me and the ambition my father bestowed. I took each of these gifts and I plan on meshing it into something stronger. I am proud of my lineage and where I come from, the experiences I've been given in this life and the more I hope to achieve. I want to pursue my life with the goal to strive and thrive. I plan to become a woman who writes the story of herself and that of others, while taking inspiration from the knowledge she knows and the knowledge she will acquire along the way. I am and never will be less than them or more. I am equal, I am capable, strong, and fierce. I was more than what you made me out to be. What is meant for me will be. I am more than looks or the spunk that you make out of me, that I'm sure. You make fun of me because I stand my ground and speak about what I value. In order to diminish me, you try to sting me with degrading words. You expect me to wallow over your coldness, but I don't seem to bat an eye. In fact, I'll use your harsh words as ammunition for the trigger I dare to pull towards freedom and peace. Success, my dear, is on the rise. Thank you. Thank you.
Give it up for Lily one more time. Yup. Nothing but awesome poetry tonight. Thank you for all being here. One more time, I will ask if anyone is interested in coming up and sharing some thoughts, some comedy, whatever you have on your mind. If not, I will go once more, but I do not mind. Alrighty, so I am gonna go one more time. So I am following along with the Gothic poetry. I went sank it behind the more handsomer Matt. Shout out to my boy Matt. He went first. So to preface this poem, my nickname is the Wolfman. Right? Ow, ow, ow. Yep, that's my nickname. I fight. I do MMA. So when I go out for fights, they introduce me as Wolfman. So I incorporated him into this poem. For those that don't know what the Wolfman is, that is a werewolf. And to preface another term, the number 33 is a Masonic term. If you guys have ever been to Disneyland and have heard of Club 33, yeah, not surprised, they are Freemasons. Yes, I'm sorry, but I had to say it. So anywho, yeah, hey, you said it, brother. You said it. Damn right. That's why I go to Six Flags. Better rides. Not very far and cheaper. And cheaper. Bro, it's an arm and a leg to go to Disneyland. Yeah, and I have kids telling me in my class that they pay monthly and they can't even get in, and they still have to pay. So yeah, fuck you, Disney. But I still like Disney here and there, but fuck them. Anywho, so I'm gonna get into my poem. This is called Wolfman. So, in the midst of darkness, the Wolfman lurks, preying on little snow bunnies. Hippity hop, he follows and snarls. That was my impression of doing the voice, sorry. Through the crackling bushes, he is hungry. his prey sitting, nibbling on the lush green. The wolfman crouches ever so slowly. To his amusement, he lets the bunnies play. Hippity hop, hippity hop. He awaits his moment. Ah! Attack. He is on the chase. Left, right. Moving through the bushes, evading the powdery sequoia trees. He dodges each tree at a speed of 33. He is unlucky. No snow bunny for Mr. Wolfman. Well, I'll be damned. Hippity hop, hippity hop. The wolfman is on the prowl. Ow, ow, ow! The wolfman sneaks. Then the wolfman freaks. Anything in his way. The bear scurries at the wrath of his fury. The fox cowers at the voice of his howl. Woo! The only animal brave enough to handle this beast is the mountain lion. The cunning of an assassin, the will of an Aztec, yet he meets the wolfman, whose only will is to survive at any cost. The pair dance, circling each other, exchanging vicious snarls. The blades on the paws of the lion are as sharp as Japanese steel. The wolfman bobs and weaves the lion's fierce pounce. Not even an ounce of blood is to be shed by the wolfman. The lion is for sure to be dead. The wolfman strikes, using all his might to rip and shred. The wolfman can now lurk through the lush and dark scenery of a Yellowstone National Park evening, hunting, wanting to munch on his powdery prey. There he stays as his prey lays, so fluffy and white. She is in for a fright. Ah! The wolfman has his meal. To no ordeal was this an easy kill. The wolfman will strike again and again and again, trekking through the murky night. The wolfman howls, leaving all in fright. Ow, ow, ow! Yes. Just to piggyback off of this, I got the wolfman because I actually owned a wolf dog. He was Alaskan Malamute and part wolf. He was huge. Literally, I can show you pictures. His name was Fluffy too. Not an intimidating name, but that guy was badass. Rest in peace, Fluffy. But I adapted that name. Plus, if you can see my arms, I'm hairy. So it kind of just fit. And my middle name is actually Harry. Yeah, yeah. Oh, I manscaped though. I manscaped, so I don't look like a beast. But yeah. Babe, you know. Yeah. Bro, I use a lawnmower, my man. But anywho, so I'm just having fun with y'all. You want to go again? Oh, yes. So, shout out August 5th. We are having my friend Brenda Vaca. Her name on Instagram, I am Brenda Vaca, is actually hosting a live poetry at Dog Pound MMA in Norwalk off Firestone. I will be there. Mariscos will be there. Great food and beer. Coach Johnny, Johnny Tsunami will actually be there, and that's who Brenda will be interviewing. So shout out to him. If you guys would like to go, it's poetry. It's free. I always go for open mat, which means you spar with the individuals there. So I'll be there. I can't drink, though, because I have a fight next month. But anywho, so Brenda will be hosting that. My name on Instagram is Majestic Wolfman if you want to follow me. I actually have this cool pin. Let me show you. That's made by my wife. She goes by the Hydrated Creatrix on Instagram. Hit her up for commissions if you'd like a signature piece. She actually made my other boy, Matt Square, another piece. Yup. And she made my friend Brenda some earrings. So she gets on it. So yes, follow Nervous Ghost Press. Follow I Am Brenda Vodka. Follow Majestic Wolfman. Follow Hydrated Creatrix. If there's anyone who'd like to go, feel free. If not, that is the end of our night. Thank you for being here and listening to us. Even if we didn't sound the greatest, we came up here and it's tough. It's tough to come up here and look people in the eyes. So shout out to all of you. Shout out to the audience. Thank you. Have a good night, guys.